Don't break my heart. When I'm up through the night, I can't turn down the noise, tear all the worries out of my mind. About who I'm supposed to be, I start to believe I can't get it right. Remember the days I let slip away, they were simpler times. Mama told me before you leave, if there's only one thing you remember from me, child, when you're out on your own, a million miles from home, feeling the weight of the world on your shoulders. Child, don't forget who you are, don't lose your head or your heart. I'll bet my life on your stars, you'll be dancing, dancing on the moon. I'll bet my life, you'll be dancing on the moon. I'll bet my life, you'll be dancing on the moon. I'll bet my life, you'll be dancing on the moon. Dancing on the moon. Dancing on the moon. Maybe my compass was wrong, and I'm still on my way closer each day to where I belong. I'm still rolling the dice, praying sometimes it don't last that long. I'm losing my faith, I'm walking away from what you knew all along.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome along to TTML Division 1. We are, of course, here for Season 4, round number 8 of the championship as we take in the Mexican Grand Prix from the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. My name is James. I'm going to be taking you through the stream, as always, and joining me in the commentary box, it is Mr. Luke Etheridge. Luke, how are you doing?
I'm very well, thanks, James. Good evening to yourself. Good evening to everyone that is watching. It could well be a championship decider here at Mexico. And if it's anything like the race was in Season 3, we might see a wild mix of strategies, which should lead to a really exciting race. Really looking forward to tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see, of course, how all the action unfolds out on track. Goodness me. Jojo, of course, took the win last time. Mick Rass in second and Carlsbury in third. What did that do to the championship standings? Well, Carlsbury is behind on Jojo. Jojo currently holds the championship lead on 169 points. Carlsbury in second on 105. Carlsbury basically has got to try and win this race, and Jojo's got to finish second or below for the championship to try and be continued on going in towards next week, of course. But Jojo can wrap up the championship here tonight. There's plenty of permutations. We'll run you through it, of course, as we get in towards qualifying. Running down the rest of the field, though, Perfection third and 93. Mick Rass tied as well on third for 93. Kumblai is in fifth on 75. Dobby sixth on 66. Sorensen in seventh on 58, as my standings just go rise slightly. Lemon in 8th on 55, Armadine 9th on 54, and then Venom's in 10th on 49. Round down the rest of the field, we have Santeri in 11th on 47, Tim 12th on 40, Nicholas 13th on 32, Combi 14th on 23, Nathan and Effect tied for 15th on 22, Mashivo in 17th on 15, Volbeek 18th on 13, Tom in 19th on 12, and Rick in 20th on 11 points. And Zhao Zhao can wrap up the championship tonight, Luke.
Yeah, easiest way really, ignoring any pole position and fastest lap points. If Zhao Zhao wins, he will take the championship. And given the form that he's been in, he's took part in 6 races, he's won 5 of them. It was only Canada, which, to be honest, is a circuit with some long straights and a circuit where the 2-stop strategy can work. Maybe that is a bit of foreboding for tonight. But yeah, the form Zhao Zhao's been in, it feels like a matter of when, not if, he takes the championship. And you'd imagine, with the greatest of respect, Carlsby's probably not the second fastest driver in the field, and he has only beat Zhao Zhao once this season, and that was in Canada, where Carlsby finished 6th and Zhao Zhao finished in 7th position. So I think it's going to be tough tonight. We'll just have to wait and see how things goes. Maybe there'll be some bad weather. Maybe we'll see some drivers get punctures at the end, and that could really mix everything up.
It can mix everything up around here, of course, in Mexico. 36 laps awaiting the drivers out on track. But looking at the Constructors' battle as well, that is definitely going to go towards next week, unless Williams, McLaren and Haas fall completely by the wayside here tonight. Alfa Romeo have got a 10-point advantage going into the Constructors' Championship, going into round 8. Williams and McLaren second on 159 points, Haas in 4th on 151, AlphaTauri is in 5th on 103, Red Bull in 6th on 88, Racing Point in 7th on 87, Ferrari in 8th on 51, Mercedes 9th on 44, and Renault in 10th on 26. I don't think I've ever seen such a close-run Constructors' battle. It comes to show quite an inconsistent field, I would say, I would argue, but Alfa Romeo down to Haas, top 4 Constructors separated by 18 points.
Yeah, and it's part of that's because of how the Constructors' Championship works here in TTML. So Zhao Zhao's teammate left the league, so his points got deleted completely. So Zhao Zhao, on his own, is basically winning the Constructors' Championship by 10 points. And like you said, there has been the inconsistency. There's been 7 races so far this season. Zhao Zhao's the only driver to have more than 2 podiums. Perpetuum, last year's champion, his only podium has been a victory. Dobby's, his teammates only had 1 podium so far. Some other quick drivers down the field we've seen, like Venom's, he's only been here 2 races as a reserve driver, but he's been extremely quick. So no one's really been able to challenge Zhao Zhao in the Drivers' Championship. That's why that could be on. And like you said, the inconsistency among the different teams is why the Constructors is so close at this moment in time, because of how the point system works in TTML as well. That 18 points between Alfa Romeo and Haas, that's basically a 4th position. That is how close it's going to be. Almost certainly, that battle will go down to the final race in Singapore in 2 weeks' time.
It definitely will. All we can hope for is a really good Constructors' battle. The drivers' standings, of course, may be wrapped up tonight. Zhao Zhao, of course, on 169 points. The championship permutations, basically, are as follows, and I'll try and find them. Zhao Zhao basically has got to outscore Carlsby by 3 points out on track. That's basically first for Zhao Zhao, second for Carlsby, if you think about it. There's also other permutations. So if Perpetuum outscores Zhao Zhao by 10 points, then it carries on in towards next week. But if Zhao Zhao outscores Perpetuum, then that's done. If Zhao Zhao outscores Mikras, that's done. And if Zhao Zhao outscores Kuhn Blai, and that's done. Mikras and Kuhn Blai, though, Kuhn Blai is probably the one that's more out of this, I would say, than the other 3, because the other 3 really are separated by about a 10-point buffer in terms of Carlsby, Perpetuum, and Mikras. Kuhn Blai's 28 points, basically inferior to Zhao Zhao in this mathematical equation. Zhao Zhao is the man, though, that is going to be hoping to try and take the championship tonight. But knowing Perpetuum, if he has got pole position wrapped up in his bag, and if he's quite quick in qualifying, which I know he is around here in Mexico, then it might just bring Perpetuum actually into play to take it to the final round, or the final 2 rounds of the championship.
Yeah, it could well do indeed. And again, it's amazing that Kuhn Blai is still in this championship battle. He could be second in the championship by the end of tonight if he took the victory and results went his way. And he's yet to have a podium this season. He's just been consistently in the lower middle parts of the points. Never finished outside of the top 10 when he has reached the checkered flag. He didn't take part in China and retired in Japan. So yeah, he's just kept picking up those points. We've started to see Mikras as well. He's kind of the 4th man apart from Zhao Zhao at this moment in time. His last 3 races, a 6th, a 3rd and a 2nd. Could it be that first victory for him of the season tonight? We've only had 3 different winners so far: Zhao Zhao, Perpetuum And Lemon as well, he's another driver that is out of the championship battle, but when he finishes, he either wins or finishes second. He has shown some extremely good pace, some bad strategy calls early on in the season though, has what really cost him, and you could probably say that for quite a few drivers across the field.
Yeah, it comes to show the inconsistency, I think, of the drivers within Division 1 this season. The likes of Division 2, the likes of Division 4, which I've been commentating on Friday as well. So much consistent. They're very much separated by very limited amounts out on track. And I think that just comes to show because we have got a couple of new drivers which we'll introduce to you in a second. But 11 drivers currently within the lobby. I know we're coming to the end of the game cycle, but this is so disappointing from a top tier like in TTML. You guys should know better. If you want to put in your absence, please do. But don't waste our time and not putting in your absence because you're only going to get found out and you're only going to be at the peril of the stewards. It's very disappointing, I think, from our perspective. We take time out of our own lives to bring you this commentary. Tom takes time out of his life to bring you the graphics. The least you could do is attend and actually put on a very good race. But as I always say, quality beats quantity.
I've got to agree with you there, James. It's embarrassing. It's pathetic, if we're being truly honest, that many people just can't be bothered. I'll censor myself slightly to turn up on regular occasions, and I'm sure this will be remembered by those at the top of TTML and other leagues in the future when it comes to application time next time around.
It will indeed, but we have to make do with what we've been given in front of us, and it looks like we're about to get underway. But it's going to be fascinating to see, because there's a very old driver that I have commentated on in the past that is introducing in towards Division 1. Really hope he is as quick as what I think he was back in the day, back on F1 2018 when I ran my old league, but there we are. But we are about to get going, hopefully out on track, and remember, Jow can wrap up the championship tonight. Carlsbury is here, Perpetuum's here, Mikras is here. That's all that matters. The top four in the championship are here, and they're going to be fighting it out on track. Quickly, though, before we go in towards qualifying, Luke, what can we expect?
I think we can now expect a lot of drivers trying to qualify on the medium tyres, of course, for only one driver is going to get a fresh set of tyres, so that is going to be something to intrigue us. So maybe we'll see a different name on pole position. One of the slower drivers might just go for the glory and go for those 2 bonus points.
Might do indeed, as we go straight then in towards qualifying, and we really hope that it's going to be a really good race, of course, out on track. But without further ado, let us get started. Let us go into qualifying. Good evening, everyone, and welcome along to TTML. We are here for Season 4, Round 8 of the Championship in Mexico City for the Mexican Grand Prix around the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. Of course, 3 tyre compounds out on track here tonight. Those are the C4, C3 and C2 compounded tyres. The softs, mediums and the hards, of course, to you and me. Whether or not we see the mediums being used in qualifying remains to be seen around a very high degradation track in terms of tyre wear. 17 corners, 4.3 kilometres and then 2.6 mile with the 3 DRS zones. 1 down the start-finish straight, 1 down in towards turn number 4, and 1, of course, down in towards turn 12 as well, going down into the old baseball stadium section at the end of the lap, as we are now about to get going straight in towards qualifying. And the first thing that we can actually pinpoint out, beautiful blue skies, sunshine, exactly what we like to see.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sure that'll be a relief for all of the drivers. It is quite an interesting track, the Mexican Grand Prix circuit. I don't think it comes across on the game as much, but in real life, because it is at such high altitude, they run almost Monaco levels of downforce in real life, and even then they're setting ridiculous straights on the ridiculous speeds on the straight, so I expect to see some really fast speeds here. You'll probably see a lot of slipstreaming in the race as well, and pole position, yes, you get the bonus 2 points. We've said whoever's on pole will probably be on the soft tyres. Probably won't be at front by turn 1 though. It is very possible with such a long run towards the first corner that they might get swamped by cars behind, especially if they have a bad start. And even if Jow Jow's not on pole position, we know what his starts are like. Don't be surprised if he boosts his way up towards the lead at turn 1.
Yeah, don't be surprised at all. Kumbla is the first man out on track. Of course, the Dutchman, fresh from his performance, of course, last week in Russia, of course. And Kumbla is the first man out on track. But Panos is out on track, and this is the man that I was on about being in my old league. I really hope he's as quick as what he was back in the day. Panos is a Greek man. He is, of course, in Alfa Romeo. And little known fact to you guys who might have not followed me in the early stages of my commentary life, I actually commentate for them in a little old league called TFL, which I used to run.
Well, the circle of life. I nearly forgot the name of that song then for a second. He is one of the first drivers wanting to get out there on track. I think there's the Red Bull of Kuhnblei just ahead of him coming into the Follow Sol baseball stadium. There is another baseball stadium here at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez, just outside of turn number 1, but the drivers obviously don't go through that, and it is a fantastic addition to the circuit.
It is indeed, and now we go around this 4.3 kilometre circuit, and we hope that Kuhnblei is going to set up a good lap. 215 mile an hour can be reached on the run down in towards turn 1. You can see how excessive this is, running down in towards turn number 1, reaching 335 kilometres an hour down the straight, locking up in towards turn 1, now through turn 2, and then coming through turn 3. Don't invalidate through that. Lovely jubbly from Kuhnblei, so now comes out on the DRS straight, up in towards turn number 4, and this will be the key point out on circuit. Through the first sector to 28 flat through the first sector from Kuhnblei, as it now comes through the end of the first sector towards the turn 6 and 7 complex. It's actually only counted as one corner, and then we come to the Slytherin Snake S section, as I sometimes like to refer to this in commentary. Now through turn 8, through turn 9, and then through turn 10, through turn 11, and on the run up towards turn 12, of course, at the top of the baseball stadium section, the Ferrosol is now 54.9 is recorded through the middle sector for Kuhnblei to 26.9 through the middle sector. He's got a Ferrari just in front of him out on track. That is Tim, who was on a lap, as he now comes through the final couple of corners, does Kuhnblei, through turn 16, through 17, where Gary and Noisy had a bit of contact in TTML Division 2 last season, comes across the line. That is a lap of Mexico, completed a 1:13.4 to start off the night.
Yeah, and he'll be fairly happy with that. A, because it's not a bad banker. B, he kept it clean. That is not the easiest thing to do on this circuit, especially through the S's in the middle sector. I think it's turn 7 all the way to turn 11. Very easy to get it wrong. Panos has gone a second behind at the moment on a 1:14.450. I think we've got Mikras coming around the final couple of corners now. We'll see what the Haas driver can do. Hugs the right-hand side of the circuit. Goes into second on a 1:13.6. Well, let's see what some of these... let's see what some of the title contenders can do. You've got Carlsberg. He's just headed his way into Sector 2 now, and he is up, to be honest, on the time of Kuhnblei through Sector 1. So this could be a good lap from the McLaren.
Sorensen goes quickest though, 1:13.1, a flying middle sector from the Dane, and he's up into the top step of the standings so far. Cass just goes fourth as well, as now Carlsberg comes out through the final couple of corners. Tim is also just coming in towards the final couple of corners as well. He's actually behind Carlsberg out on track, but now Carlsberg runs through the final corner, through turn 17, comes to the line, and he's going to actually invalidate on that lap. It seems Tim across the line. He's not invalid, he goes second, 800ths off on Sorensen. Carlsberg has just started up on a lap once again. Effect is the next man on a lap. Jaja and Perpetuum, both title contenders, both on out laps. Jaja just starting one, Perpetuum just about to start one as well, but Effect the German now coming through out of turn 11 on the run up towards turn 12, and we'll see what his middle sector is actually like. In fact, we'll go on board with Jaja because I've just realised he's invalid.
Yeah, Carlsberg, and I think Effect finding it difficult in that middle part of the lap. Carlsberg's time would have been a 1:13.2, so would have actually, I think, just put him ahead of Tim. I think it was a 13.20 compared to the 13.21 for the Ferrari man. Let's see what Zhao Zhao's doing through the first sector. 27.75, slower than Tim, but actually faster than what Sorensen did. So this could be a pretty decent lap from Zhao Zhao coming through turn 6 at double apex. Right-hander gets it nice and tidy through there. Now the S is a real test of car control for these drivers. Feathering the throttle, feathering the brakes as well where necessary. Zhao Zhao just invalidates there. That looks a bit cruel to me. That looks as though he'd just about managed to keep at least two of the wheels on the right side of the right line.
He did, and yeah, Jaja just cut the inside curve, but it just comes to show around here, you can pick up a lot of invalidations on your lap, and Jaja will be fresh into the pit lane. Perpetuum, by the way, is just out of the first sector. He's at the fastest first sector out of everyone, 27.6. He is my man if I was a betting man on for pole position, and the German is on a good lap here now, flying towards the S section. Through turn 7, through turn 8, they come at you like Mike Tyson, or maybe like Floyd Mayweather against Logan Paul at the weekend. Perpetuum coming through in towards turn number 12, and this is actually quick through the middle sector, and he's quickest out of everyone once again. 26.8, he's actually degraded a little bit of time away compared to Sorensen. He's 2/10 off Sorensen in the middle sector, but he should be doing enough maybe to go second here ahead of Tim. Perpetuum now through 16, in towards turn 17 with 7 minutes really gone in qualifying. Sorensen down on top, but for how long? Perpetuum to the line. He goes third, and he's only a tenth of a second off Sorensen, but Sorensen, Tim, and Perpetuum are your top three. Zhao Zhao is just on another lap, I believe, and he's invalid, actually, just coming through the S section.
Yes, Zhao Zhao really struggling with this S section, and he's not a driver you normally think of picking up too many penalties. Anytime he has got a penalty, he's usually been too far ahead of anyone else for it to make a difference. Few more drivers starting to come out of the pits now for their second runs. Panos, who's currently slowest of everyone, Effect trying to get his first valid time on the board, and Carlsbury following him as well. But Sorensen on pole position at the moment. Perpetuum in that third position, fastest in the first sector. I just wonder if he's knocked a bit of downforce off that Williams to be quick in a straight line, but obviously compromising his performance through the middle and the final sectors.
Yeah, you'd like to imagine so, I think. Perpetuum, I think, has knocked off maybe that downforce, as you say, and it's to try and get the best cornering speed possible throughout the lap. We're on board with Panos, the Greek man, down in towards turn number 1, now through turn 2, and then through turn number 3. With nearly 8 minutes gone in qualifying, Sorensen, Tim, and Perpetuum currently our top 3. Kumblai has just started off on a lap on a 1:13.4, but I think that's the time if Sorensen is to be beaten. 27.9 through the first sector from Panos. He's a little way off through the first sector, and he's 2 tenths off the back of Tim coming out through the first sector. But Panos now coming through turn 6, on the up towards 7, 8 and 9 as we now come through in towards the S section, and the Greek man now coming through 7 through 8 through 9. They come at you very, very quickly here through turn 10, now through turn 11, and this is where you can pick up an invalidation. Panos beautiful through there as he now runs up in towards turn number 12, and it's a 27 flat through the middle sector, so he's actually gained a little bit more time in this final sector. Still looks a little way off the pace compared to the likes of Cass and Mikras possibly, but Panos now coming through the end towards the middle sector, now through 16, then through 17, through the final right-hander, and Panos now comes toward the line. What's his lap going to be? And it's a 1:13.7, a good improvement there by Panos, and he goes 6th. What's Kumblai doing though? Comes across the line, and Kumblai goes 3rd, right in the middle of Tim and Perpetuum.
Yeah, we are starting to see a few drivers get some faster times in now. Carlsbury's just coming towards the end of Sector 1. 27.5 is a very rapid first sector. Fastest we've seen by quite some distance, actually, compared to Sorensen, who did a 27.8. That is a blistering first sector, but Sorensen and Verdane made up a lot of time in the final 2 sectors of the lap. And again, Carlsbury invalidates through turn 6. I'm surprised to see drivers doing it on multiple occasions, because I thought they'd have learned to just give it a bit of margin through that part of the circuit. If they've got it wrong once, just try and get a safe banker in, and then you've got enough time to leave it all out there on your final runs.
Well, we've just seen Effect take that beautifully, coming through the end of the middle sector. 26.9 through the end of the middle sector, and the German now coming down in towards the Feathersall, through the Baseball Stadium section, through 15, then in towards the right-hander of 16, through 17. Sorensen, Tim, Kumblai currently up top 3. Panos, Cass, I believe, has just started up a lap as well. Effect goes 5th. Good lap time from Effect, 1:13.3 on his time. Cass has just started up on a lap, I believe. In fact, I think he might be invalid. Actually, Zhao Zhao comes to the line. 6th position, 1:13.4, 4-lap old soft compound tyres. Zhao Zhao on a pad, Sorensen I believe on a wheel, Zhao Zhao down in 6th. I'm not really that surprised though, because I think Mexico is more of a wheel heavy track compared to a pad.
Yeah, and especially when it comes to tyre wear as well, Zhao Zhao's going to be killing those tyres. We don't really talk about tyre wear too much, and we can't get it up on the TAS system in these conditions, but I imagine he'll be coming into the pits and setting a lap on fresher soft tyres, because you're not going to want to start on 4-lap old softs.
Lemon's on a set of inters, by the way. He's coming through the final couple of corners, and I believe this is to get his lap in a 1:26.5. Obviously not going to be competing for top spot there on a set of inters, but we saw with Recon, I believe, last season, and maybe Lemon as well. He went out on a set of inters very early on in the session, got a lap in, and then transferred to the set of softs, and he can improve on that lap. Carlsbury, however, coming through the middle sector, 26.8 currently out on track. Sorensen, Tim and Kumblai still your top 3. I believe Perpetuum is going quite quickly as well. He's just coming towards the end of the first sector, 27.5 through the first sector. Carlsbury to the line, goes 2nd. Great lap by Carlsbury, found a lot of time in that final sector, 1:13.1. A very close qualifying session. Sorensen down to Panos is covered by 0.6 of a second, just over, which is absolutely unbelievable considering we've only got, 11 drivers?
Yeah, very close indeed at the moment. In fact, it's just a second between the entire field. If you could, well, it was a second if you ignored Lemon, because Sovenson's just at a 1:12.904, fastest of everyone by quite some margin as well. Over a quarter of a second. You've got Tim coming through the middle sector now. He's a 10th up on his personal best, so could be joining the front over the grid here. But Carlsbury looking fairly good in second place at the moment. Are we Jow down in 7th? I don't think I'll be too disappointed with that.
Not only that, he's outscoring Perpetuum and Mikras currently as well, so Colesbury filling up a lot of confidence. Tim to the line, goes second though, and puts him in his place. 1:13 flat, Colesbury less than a 10th off on that lap. But Sorensen, your man out on top. There's Tim in second, there's Colesbury in third. I believe Mikras is on a lap as well. He's now coming through in towards turn number 7 to 27.8 through the first sector from the Dane. Now right to the curb through turn 9, right to the curb through turn 10, and then through turn 11, runs out wide slightly. But Mikras on a good lap now, coming toward the end of the middle sector, 26.9 through the middle sector. He's going to be there or thereabouts, I think, in terms of Jojo and effect maybe, but I don't think he'll be challenging the likes of Perpetuum on this lap. Mikras now coming through 15, then in towards 16, and then through the final corner at turn 17, pretty much adjacent now to the pit wall. And in fact, he comes into the pit lane and crashes into the back of Colesbury. And he gets a 5-place grid penalty. That's just stupid.
Yeah, don't know why Colesbury seems to be travelling so slowly on the way into the pit lane, to be perfectly honest. But I think part of that was Mikras misjudging it by an absolute country mile on his way in. So that's got himself a penalty. He'll basically be starting at the back of the grid then, and probably on an older set of tyres, which I don't think Lemon will be complaining too much about if he's 10th on a fresh set of tyres, which looks to be what he's aiming for at the moment. Kumbly just coming through Sector 2 at this moment in time, slinging it through the S's in the Red Bull. We'll see what sort of lap this is going to be. And again, another driver getting it wrong through those S's. We are going to be seeing a lot of penalties tonight. It could well be one of those races where if you get the least penalties, you take the victory.
It might be indeed, and yeah, penalties really do punish you around this track. Sorensen, Tim and Colesbury still your top 3 comply, as you say, just invalidating we saw on board with this lap. Panos is back on a lap. Lemon is retired actually in the pit lane by the looks. Cass is in 10th position, so Lemon very happy to stop, possibly on a set of hards. Panos just completely cuts through the S section, and he's yet another one that is invalidated on a lap. Sorensen, Tim, Colesbury out on top. Sorensen, it's going to be very difficult, I think, now to beat that 1:12.9. You've got nearly a 2/10 gap to Tim. The rest of the field, pretty much down to Jojo, is covered by 3.5 tenths per second. Tim is in the prime spot to take second, but that one there, Perpetuum, who's on a night lap coming through the S section through turn 10 and 11, he is the man to watch out for, as Cass just moves himself up into the 5th, in fact.
Yeah, Perpetuum, he's going to want to go for it. I'm surprised Jojo hasn't headed out early to maybe try and get a couple of laps in, because he has been having trouble keeping it on the circuit at this moment in time. But Perpetuum, the only driver on a hot lap at this moment. Panos, he's not using any ERS on this occasion and has invalidated, so he's just driving it back to the pits. Perpetuum's got a perfectly clear track here to try and get himself up the order higher than that 6th place. He was a bit of a king of qualifying in Season 3. He's yet to have a pole position, though, in Season 4. We'll see if tonight can be his first, but it is going to have to be a mighty improvement.
It has got to be a mighty improvement. He now comes through into the final. Well, it's actually invalidated coming out through turn 3. Perpetuum yet another invalidation on a lap. He's invalidated coming through there. Sorensen out on top, Tim in second, Colesbury in third. Cass is just off on a lap. Panos, I believe, has started one again. He's now coming through in toward the final couple of corners. He's actually invalid, in fact, the Greek man, 1:13.7. Covered by 8 tenths of a second, though, the gap. It's very impressive, I've got to say, even with 11 drivers. But then, again, I say quality over quantity. But for those guys that are not turning up, very disappointing. And to be honest, it lowers the league standards completely.
Yeah, definitely. Jojo's invalidated on his outlap there. They're really struggling, I think, especially on the pad through that S section. And that is where you really, in my experience, when I've tried a bit of both, I have done a race around Suzuka on the pad. It's absolutely horrible going through that first sector at Suzuka with the S's, like the second sector here, trying to get that fine control of throttle, brake if you need it, and you do if you're me, and the steering. It's just so difficult, and that could be what cost Jojo tonight, but we'll have to wait and see. He has got a bit of a margin in hand. I wonder if he will be one of those drivers who tries to focus in the race on just keeping it clean.
I think he will, and Jojo is probably the man to watch out for in terms of this lap, certainly. Can he try and get Sorensen? Sorensen's just back out the pit lane just in behind, but Jojo on the run down in towards turns 1, 2 and 3. Beautiful, through out of turn 3, but again, he's on a pad, so I don't expect him to be that quick compared to Sorensen and Tim, who are probably on wheels. Jaja now through the end of the first sector to 27.8 through the first sector, which is actually not too bad from Jaja, to 27.7, in fact, from Perpetuum through the first sector as well. I believe he might be ahead of him coming through the S section. Yeah, Perpetuum coming through the S section. The German's going to lay it all on the line here. He was my prediction for pole, but I don't think that might be necessary, actually. Perpetuum now coming through the end of the middle sector, 26.5. He's purple in the middle sector, and this is more like it from Perpetuum as he now comes through into the baseball stadium section, through 14, through 15, then into the final 2 corners at 16 and 17. Cass has retired in the pit lane as well, but Perpetuum comes to the line. Is he going to improve? Yes, he does! 112.7 goes to the top, and that might be the lap to beat as Jaja is on the lap as well. He's now on the run toward the line. The Dane comes to the line, and he goes fourth. Much better from Jaja, a 113.1. But Perpetuum now, with a lot of invalidations I would assume to come, Perpetuum, I think, has just wrapped up the 2 points.
Yeah, Sorensen, I imagine, was feeling pretty confident about his time until he saw that coming across the wall. Mikras, he's not going to be setting an overtime. He's in the pits, so he will not be improving whatsoever. Carsby, he's going to be last driver across the line by the looks of things in the middle sector at this moment in time. It's going to be interesting to see where Carsby can get at this moment in time. Let's not forget, if Zhao Zhao outscores Carsby, I believe it might be by 2 points because Zhao Zhao's got so many more wins, then Zhao Zhao will take the title, and the difference between 4th and 5th place is 3 points, so it's looking good for the Alfa Romeo. Can Carsby get his McLaren any further up the order? Only needs to find 17 thousandths to move ahead of his title rival.
That can't be right through the first sector. Tim is purple through the first sector, 27.4, and the German is on an absolute flyver lap. We saw Sorensen actually invalidate coming through turns 1, 2, and 3, but Perpetuum's out on top. Tim is the only man I think that can try and improve now on this lap. If he sets a flying middle sector, this could be the lap for Tim to go on pole position and take his inaugural pole position out on track. Through the end of the middle sector, 26.7, he's there or thereabouts. He hasn't really lost much time coming through the end of the middle sector. Zhao Zhao's been disqualified for being parked in a dangerous location. So that is ridiculous if that has happened. Zhao Zhao is being disqualified. He's starting right from the back of the field. Zhao Zhao is right down the back of the field. Tim comes to the line, and it's second for Tim. Carsby is on a lap as well, coming in toward the S section. Not many improvements as Kumbly goes fourth. Carsby has got to now put this all on the line. 27.7 up through the first sector, 26.7 now through the middle sector. It's better from Carsby, but it's not enough. He runs 1 out through 12, in towards turns 13, 14, then through 15, then in towards 16 and 17, and this will be the lap possibly for Carsby. He comes toward the line. I think he might go fourth with this. Carsby to the line. And he does go fourth with that, and that is the end of qualifying. Perpetuum out on top, Tim second, Sorensen in third. Zhao Zhao, though, being parked in a dangerous location, getting himself disqualified. Tactics?
Possibly. It's pretty good tactics to know that's where you need to park the car, though, to get yourself disqualified, because normally the game is very instant when you park in a dangerous location, especially if you end up blocking the pit lane. I know turn 1 at Hockenheim on F1 2019 used to be a bit of a tricky one. If you spun through turn 1, you'd end up in the pits and get disqualified almost instantly. If it was tactical, that's absolutely superb. Lemon's going to be starting 10th on a fresh set of tyres. Maybe watch out for him as well, but we'll have to see what drivers can do. Let's not forget Mikras has a 5-place penalty, so I'm not sure whether that will bump him behind Zhao Zhao or keep him ahead.
It will, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it will bump him behind Jaja. But Perpetuum's out on top by 1/10 of a second. It's an old German affair towards the top end of the field. Perpetuum out on top, Tim in second, Sorensen in third, Carsby in fourth, Kumbly in fifth, Cass in sixth, Effect in seventh, Mikras in eighth, Panos not too far off the pace on his debut in ninth, Lemon, of course, on a set of enters in top 10, Jaja getting disqualified starting right from the back of the field. But I believe because Jaja said a lap, Mikras will be behind Jaja as a result. Remains to be seen. He might be starting in 10th position, but hopefully we're going to be seeing some really good action, of course, out on track. Around this 4.3-kilometre circuit, 36 laps awaiting these guys out on track. And one thing that's very unpredictable, given that we have got very, very, very cool conditions, of course, out on track, is the threat of rain in the race. Are we going to get it?
I hope not. If I'm being perfectly honest. It would be good to see what these drivers can do in the dry conditions. What's going to make it interesting is those tactics that the drivers inside the top 10 go for. I'm trying to remember who it was last season. I think it was Kvyat Verstappen who did the one stop when I was absolutely adamant it was not going to work around this circuit, and he just about managed to pull it off. I think we saw Bullet Boy last season as well, not at this circuit, but a few others drag his tyres into 80-90% tyre wear. It's a theme I've noticed across the F1 games. Circuits like Mexico, Singapore's another one where drivers started off doing 2 stops at the beginning of the game cycle and now trying to push it towards a 1 stop. And I think we could see Lemon and maybe Zhao Zhao attempt to do that tonight.
Yeah, I believe so. And actually, what's thrown a spanner into the works, actually, Lemon is in the wrong car. Just thought I'd point that out there. Lemon is in the wrong car. He is supposed to be in the Racing Point. He is actually in the Mercedes here tonight, so that is going to be a guaranteed penalty coming his way. Miklas, by the way, has jumped in behind Zhao Zhao, so Zhao Zhao will get maybe fresh tyres as well. But we'll have a look at what the tyres everyone is going to be on. Perpetuum, of course, out on top, Tim in second, Sorensen in third. Top 8 qualifying on a set of softs. Zhao Zhao gets fresh mediums right down the back of the field. Miklas is starting on soft compounder tyres. I believe that might be the qualifying tyre that he's actually been set on in terms of qualifying before he got that 5-place grid penalty. Lemon and Zhao Zhao, though, both on a set of mediums. Lemon very mistakenly has gone for the wrong car, so he should be disqualified from that point onwards, I think. Lemon, though, on a set of mediums, Zhao Zhao on a set of mediums. Going to be an interesting strategy. Will the one-stop work?
It is possible. It is quite difficult, though, I think, to pull off. And imagine medium-hard is a possibility, maybe more than soft-hard. Personally, I do like the 2-stop around this circuit. Medium, soft, soft. If you're outside the top 10, if you're inside the top 10, soft, medium, medium, or soft, medium, soft, if you feel able to do that. The first few laps might give us a clue of what everyone's going to do. If you're bolting away from the blocks, trying to work your way up the order, then that says to me you're going to do a 2-stop. If you're a bit more conservative, that says to me 1-stop. Should we predict where Zhao Zhao is going to be by turn 1, though? He's on less grippier tyres than some of those around him, but he's absolutely lightning at his starts, and this is, I think, the longest run down towards turn 1. I wouldn't be surprised if he's 7th or 8th by the time we get to the first corner.
I think he might get outdone by the drag of the cars in front, because you've got to imagine there's very limited air running down in towards turn 1 with 11 cars basically charging down in towards turn 1. I think he actually might get done by Miklas off the start, and I think Zhao Zhao might be at the back of the field, starting through onto the first lap and coming through the first couple of corners, but remains to be seen. I'm going to throw it completely out the bat, and I'm going to predict a top 3 this time. I'm going to go Perpetuum for the win, I'm going to go Zhao Zhao for second, and then third, I'm going to go for Sorensen.
So that's a prediction. That gives Zhao Zhao the title. Do you know what? I'm going to go Lemon to take the victory. He's either going to retire or he's going to end up winning this race. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, Father of Lights now about to go out here, of course. TTML Season 4, Round 8 of the Championship. And it's lights out and away we go. And Perpetuum gets a good start. Tim, in fact, gets a really good start as well. Zhao Zhao's already up behind Panos and up behind Lemon as well. But Perpetuum leads and it's 3 wide, pretty much running down towards someone. Sorensen has had the best start out of everyone. He looks to the outside line now in Perpetuum. Running down in towards someone. Cosby on the inside line. Nearly a pinch point effect. Everyone's pretty much clean through turn 1. Zhao Zhao ran miles out wide coming through turn 1. Panos is getting outdone as well by Miklas, but Perpetuum leads the way and is pulled away by 0.6 of a second. Sorensen in second, Cosby in third. A little bit of contact between the 2 Red Bulls and between the Mercedes. Effects trying to go down the inside.
Oh, Cosby's round!
Blind Cosby's round!
He went for a half-hearted move at turn 4. The door was ajar rather than open, and he just sort of stuck his wheel in there very lazily. From Carlsbury, the door was always shut in, wheel-to-wheel contact, he gets spun round, no damage done. He's going to try and catch up obviously now to the back of the pack before the DRS is active, because DRS, extremely powerful around here with 3 different zones.
Oh, Casserspun! Casserspun coming out the S section as well. An absolute disaster for the Mercedes, and Carlsbury now is back up into 10th. Lemon and Miklas are going side by side in the meantime. Dramatic start here in Mexico. Might only have 11 drivers, but goodness me, there's drama personified. Perpetuum leads the way. Sorensen second, Tim in third, Effectin fourth, Kuhnblein fifth, Zhao Zhao sixth, Miklas seventh, Lemon and eighth, and in fact Tim is into the pit lane. Tim is into the pits. I wonder if he's picked up damage, maybe as a result of that contact with Carlsbury, and he has. Right side end plate damage, I think, for Tim, and he's now into the pit lane, and he's going to repair some front wing.
Yeah, he's put a set of mediums on though, as well. I imagine Cassie's actually going for the hard tyre, so medium's probably now for Tim. That does create a bit of a gap in the field. 1.7 seconds. I know we have got a bit of a delta glitch, but 1.7 seconds between the guys a bit further down. I think it's Sorensen and Effect at this moment in time. So second and third place, a massive gap in the field all of a sudden. That's fantastic news for these top two. Might be able to work together to continue extending the gap. We'll just have to wait to see. Zhao all of a sudden up into 5th place, lead car on them medium tyres. It wasn't that he got a fantastic start, it was that Panos got such a bad start, but Zhao managed to go all the way around the outside into turn 1 and just found plenty of grip on that line, and he's avoided all the chaos so far.
He has indeed, and Perpetuum's out in front though, but Perpetuum currently is going to be taking it to the final 2 rounds in America, certainly in the next round, as it stands at this moment in time. It's Perpetuum who leads Sorensen second, Effect in third. Kuhn Bly is all over the back of Effect as well. It's about 0.5 of a second as they now come across the line. It's 0.6 of a second, in fact, as they come across the line. Mikros trying to latch onto the back of Zhao. Lemon as well with Panos. Panos beginning to close in now on Lemon. Running down in towards turn number 1. Can the Greek man get the move done? I don't think he's going to be close enough. Of course, the DRS is not really enabled until we go around in towards turn number 12, because it's got a chair, the same detection points, of course, out on track. Panos now coming through behind Lemon, through turn 3, but not quite close enough. Kumbly as well, on the back of Effect, he's not quite close enough, running down in towards turn number 4, with Perpetuum lead, Sorensen in second. Gap now 2.3 seconds, front 2, pulling away, and they might have them between themselves.
Yeah, they might do, but Perpetuum as well, also, he's getting away from Sorensen. I think both of them have burned up a lot of ERS. Perpetuum to open that gap, nearly loses it through the S's, so you can see that gap's gone from just over a second to about half a second all of a sudden, and that's without Sorensen having the DRS. Perpetuum having a massive moment there all of a sudden. That could bring Sorensen back into it. Both of them, as I said, using a lot of ERS to either build the gap or close down that gap. Panos and Lemon having a bit of contact there as they're coming through turn 12. Lemon's down the inside into the stadium section. Panos is still going to be there on the exit, has to yield. That nearly causes Carsby a bit of problem, but as Lemon seems to be struggling a bit more on these medium tyres than Zhao at the moment, but he is up into 7th.
Yeah, and Panos is going to lose another position to Carsby here as well. Kumbly is closing in on Effect, running down in towards turn 1, the 2 Red Bulls side by side, and Kumbly is now through and he's into third. Carsby now on the back of Lemon, absolutely saunters past Lemon. If he's not even there, Panos is going to try down the inside line. Lemon, in fact, tries to have a look again down the inside line on Carsby, but doesn't get the move done. It's still Perpetuum leading the way, Sorensen in second, but that gap to the lead is 0.3 of a second out on track. Kumbly third, Effect in fourth, Zhao fifth, looking in behind though, Panos trying to get onto the back of Lemon, not quite close enough, and it's lap forward at 36, Perpetuum leads Sorensen in second, Kumbly in third. Has Kumbly though got the pace to try and close in on Sorensen and Perpetuum? The gap has stabilised at around 2.5 seconds at this stage. It seems to me the front two might have it between themselves, but Kumbly is a quick driver and he can probably outsmart these guys ahead if he was to go one stop like Verstappen last season.
Yeah, it's just whether he can manage to do that with the tyres. I'll check what his tyre wear is at this moment in time. Kumbly in the Red Bull, 30% on his rear tyres after really 4 hot laps and a couple of out and a couple of in laps. So we could say maybe about 6-7% a lap he's putting through those softs at the moment. He's going to have to go an incredibly long time on a set of mediums or a set of hards to try and make this strategy work. But we'll see. I don't think on pure pace anyone is going to be able to stop these front two at the moment, because they've built such a gap in the early stages. Someone is going to have to rely on trying something different in the pits.
Yeah, you would imagine so. Cass has picked up a 3 second time really further down the field, but Sorensen now on the back of Perpetuum, running down in towards turn number 4. We're right on board with him in the Haas, and he's on the back of the Williams in from Perpetuum and Sorensen. By the way, Williams and Haas towards the top end of the standings, McLaren all the way down, Alfa Romeo 5th and 9th at this stage, so it seems like Perpetuum and Sorensen might be getting some good points on the board for their teams in terms of the Constructors as well. And the Constructors battle, of course, will rage on certainly into America, maybe even into Singapore to round off the season. But Perpetuum leading the way. Sorensen, just a first slight little mistake there coming through the S section. He just got caught wide slightly. He's gained it back to 0.4 of a second, running down in towards turn 12. But that's just the first sign, maybe, that he's beginning to lose the rear end. And maybe, just maybe, it might bring him into a bit of a spin. But Perpetuum leads the way. Sorensen in second, Kumbly in third. Kumbly pulling away from Effect, though, and he is beginning to just sneak, maybe, onto the back of Sorensen and Perpetuum. Lap 6 out of 36, a sixth of the way through.
Yeah, 6th of the way through this race. Sorensen understandably starting to lose that pace in the dirty air. There are some quite sizable gaps in the field. Zhao not doing too bad of a job, though, to hang on to the back of Effect at this moment in time. He's a bit too far behind to go for a move now, but in the next couple of laps, those mediums will definitely be a better tyre to be on than the softs, and I'd expect to see Zhao starting to just climb his way
Sorenson's got a great one on Perpetuum. Sorry to cut in. Sorensen now on the outside line, coming down and towards turn 4, gets the move done, and Sorenson's in the lead.
Must have had an absolutely fantastic run. I wonder if Perpetuum got a bit hot on the throttle once again and just got lost the car slightly there, because about 7/10 of a second that gap would have been roughly going into turn number 1. Astounding from Sorensen. We'll see how Perpetuum now does, stuck in the dirty air. And it's not like he used a lot of ERS doing that move. And seeing as the gap between Kuenblai and Perpetuum's gone down to less than 2 seconds, I think it was partly a fantastic run from Sorensen, but I think partly a mistake from Perpetuum as well, who's now dropped more than a second behind.
This is quite something. Sorensen has just pulled away effortlessly from the back of Perpetuum. Perpetuum, maybe you're just overheating the tyres slightly, maybe you're going to try something different, but he stays out for now. It's Sorensen who leads the way, Perpetuum in second, but keeping them out of close range at their stage. Kuenblai's in third. Mikras has decided to come into the pit lane. He is now coming in more, I assume, is going to be for a set of medium compounded tyres towards the middle stages of the race, and it looks like it will be a set of yellow wall compounded tyres. The mediums go on. Lemon's chasing down Carlsby, by the way, all the run down in towards turn 1. Is the German going to close quite enough down in towards turn 1? Not quite close enough. Carlsby still in 6th. Lemon in 7th. Panos in 8th. Panos holding his own at this moment in time. But where is Mikras going to come out in front of Tim? He's in front of Tim quite considerably, in fact. Tim is miles behind as Lemon and Carlsby go side by side in towards 4. Lemon gets the move done down the inside line. Or has he? Carlsby will try the switch back through 5. Now coming in towards turn 6 of this double apex right-hander. Carlsby's still in 7th position. Lemon gets the move done, muscles his way through, and it might be that the mediums are beginning to get quicker than a set of softs.
Yeah, with the line Lemon took there through turn 5, you really expected if they'd have been on the same set of tyres, Carlsby would have just had the extra traction, but wasn't able to do anything. His front left starting to definitely have that telltale line that they sometimes get on this game, just roughly near the centre of the tyre, that suggests they are getting slightly more warm, where the mediums on some of those other runners, Jiao Jiao for example, just looking a bit cleaner at this moment in time. Now I think another sign that the tyres are going, Jiao Jiao a lot closer to the back of Effect than he's been before. The Red Bull's not going to have the DRS here, but Championship leader should be able to just sail by down the inside, take the racing line before you get back towards the corner. Jiao Jiao up into 4th, practically a 3rd position because Kuenblai has a penalty.
Yeah, no response as Jaja has just picked up a 3-second time penalty as well. Kuenblai with that penalty as well, as you mentioned, but Jaja now on the back of Kuenblai is going to try and run down in towards turn number 4. He's not going to be quite close enough. It's Sorensen who leads, Perpetuum in 2nd, Kuenblai 3rd, Jaja in 4th, and at this moment in time, 25 points out for Perpetuum. I believe Jaja is getting 18 points. Does that mean that Jiao Jiao is going to wrap up the championship if it stands as it is? I know Effect is probably going to gain the position on Jiao Jiao, but will that mean Jiao Jiao actually wraps up the championship at this stage of the race? I would imagine so.
Yeah, Perpetuum has to outscore Jiao Jiao by at least 10 points, I believe, and he's not doing that at that moment in time. If Jiao Jiao finishes 4th, yes, Perpetuum, he did get pole position, so if he gets the fastest lap, that would be the 10 points, but Jiao Jiao has more wins, and that would make it impossible for him to get beaten on countback by Perpetuum, so Perpetuum really needs to win and hope Jiao Jiao isn't on the podium as Kuenblai comes into the pits, as does Perpetuum. The first couple of drivers coming in off a set of the soft tyres, a very telltale two-stop strategy from these two.
Yeah, not surprising whatsoever. Perpetuum then into the pit lane. Kuenblai also in, both going on a set of mediums. I wonder where Mikras is going to spawn in all of this. Perpetuum is on the exit of the pit lane, so he's going to be nowhere near. Mikras is going to be ahead of Kuenblai. There's the yellow flag in sector 2 and 3, and it's Cass that's around. Cass is around, coming out the S section again. He's lost it through turn 10 like he did through. Mikras, by the way, is through on Kuenblai. Running down the straight, fresh out the pit lane, Mikras has got the overcut done on Kuenblai, and Mikras is through and he's into 8th position. Kuenblai, though, knowing him, he's going to put up a right old fight.
Yeah, we'll be able to hang back in the DRS, and not too much difference in the tyres, so he might be able to give it a go. Perpetuum, though, you can see the gaps are going down as we have got a virtual safety car. Now, will that last long enough for Sorensen to get to the pits? He won't be able to do a full pit stop, but he definitely might gain a bit of time in this pit stop period, and that could help him out massively.
I wonder where Katz has actually crashed coming out on track.
Final corner.
Through the final corner. Let's have a look. Sorensen's now coming through the final corner. Through 16, through 17. I expect the car to be there, and it's not there. Sorensen, though, is into the pit lane. He takes the risk of the VSE. I bet you the VSE is going to end around about now. Pit window was open for him, so he's coming into the pit lane to go to a two-stop strategy. but the VSC stays out, and Jaja leads the way. Sorensen second, Effect in third. And do you know what? The longer that this VSC goes on for, Sorensen has played an absolute blinder, I think, here. Cosby and Panos are both in. Perpetuum has got to stick to retire. Sorensen has absolutely flown this. He's well out ahead of Perpetuum. What a VSC from Sorensen. And he's now pretty much in the net lead of this race by about 7 seconds. Perpetuum is going to be through an Effect, I think, running down in towards turn 1. It's going to be quite close. And in fact, Effect is ahead of Perpetuum. The VSC has gained massively for them both, and Sorensen has got pretty much a commanding advantage. 7 seconds. Now the gap to Effect.
Yeah, biggest losers in that VSC period, Perpetuum, Kuhnblei, and the two cars that are on a set of the medium tyres to start with, Jiao Jiao and Lemon, because Jiao Jiao all of a sudden, he's only 12 seconds ahead of Sorensen. It's really not gone well. That is one of the longest VSC periods I've seen. That car, I saw it disappear from the track map before Sorensen came round the final corner. He was able to pretty much do his entire pit stop and get out of the pit lane again before the VSC ended, so it's worked out beautifully for him, and that can always happen if you get the undercut. It's for slight risk you play. It's not as likely once the field is spread out, but if there's a safety car over VSC, as we saw there, the effect of the undercut really does not work for you, and Perpetuum, all of a sudden, he's now in a net third place, a long way off the back of Sorensen.
Yeah, that VSC was out for a good minute or so, and that is what's cost the likes of Perpetuum, the likes of Kuhnblei, who were just fresh out the pit lane and had to stick to a delta time out on track. Mikras not too much. He's actually got ahead of Carlsbury. Running down the straight though, Kuhnblei sets a new fastest lap of the race. It's a 16.6, but Jaja leads the way. Lemon in second, Sorensen in third. Perpetuum gaining on the back of Effect, but I don't think he's going to have the effect to try and pull off the move. We've begun. Perpetuum on the back of Effect. Now coming through turn 2, through turn 3, and the fresher tyre surely going to carry me now. Opens up the overtake mode to try and go to the outside line here, down and towards turn 4. But has he got the move done around the outside line? This will be bold and brave for Perpetuum. Effect hangs it. Perpetuum sailed it around the outside line. This will be brilliant if he can pull it off. Effect 3 second time, but he might get that removed. But Perpetuum's on the inside line. Effect gives him room, and Perpetuum has muscled his way and mastered his way through on the back of Effect. Absolutely sensational stuff between them both. Effect got foresight by Perpetuum. 3 second Tomley coming in his way. That might get removed if he puts in an appeal, but Perpetuum is through, and he's into fourth position. Now in Trinet second, he can try and hunt down Sorensen, but that was just masterful.
Yeah, supreme confidence there for Perpetuum around the outside. Supreme trust on Effect not to shove him off the track. So I can't imagine the Red Bull's drivers too happy about the space he was given on the exit of turn 5. But that's always a risk. We see it happen quite a lot around that part of the circuit. Perpetuum now 7.5 seconds behind Sorensen. Sorensen yet to get any warnings. I believe Perpetuum's on 2 at this moment in time. So you'd imagine at least once over the next 24 laps he's going to have a slip up and pick up a 3 second time penalty. Effect not able to fight back this time. I wonder if he'll have a go into turn 4 and maybe give the Williams a taste of his own medicine.
I think he might, to be honest. He's got plenty of ERS to use up, over 70%. Perpetuum, though, is going to hold on to P4. Effect is just going to try and challenge him, just wait in the slipstream, and hopefully not bring Kuhnblei into play. Effect, by the way, is gained massively as a result of that VSC as well. He was pretty much side by side with Kuhnblei at one point in that first stint. But Effect is now 2.5 seconds in front of him, but knowing Kuhnblei, he will close up, and Effect running dirty air completely now around this lap. Jaja leads, Lemon in second, Sorensen in third. Gap's just under 10 seconds now between first and third. Jaja, I think, is going to be behind Effect if he comes into the pit lane soon. He'll be behind Effect, but it's not a bad strategy to go on whatsoever because he'd be the quicker man out on track. Perpetuum gets a little bit of a moment coming out through turn 12, but Effect on the back of Perpetuum. Jaja, if he comes into the pit lane soon, he is going to be behind Effect, I would think.
Yeah, I think he is as well. Maybe if he goes on another couple of laps, he might be fairly close to dropping behind the back of Kuhnblei as well. But the good news for him is Kuhnblei's not in DRS at the moment, so he wouldn't be too difficult to pass. Perpetuum in Effect, though, Effect having a DRS might make it tricky for Jiao Jiao to get further up the order. The longer he goes, though, and the longer Lemon goes, I think the more likely it is that they're going to be going soft and be going fairly fast in the final 2 stints of this race. And just to give you a visual clue of how easy the VSC has helped Sorensen, he's on the back of Lemon already, and this is going to hold him up ever so slightly because the middle sector is an awkward place to catch a car on this circuit. He's going to have to stay behind until, at the very earliest, turn 12.
Carlsbury muscles his way around the outside. Lovely move there on Mikras, going for P7. And Carlsbury is through on Mikras. Lovely move there by the Finn. He is up into 7th position currently. Not doing good enough to try and wrestle Jaja's championship off him. But if Carlsbury can now get a move on, he might be within a very slight chance of actually getting Jaja out of the pit lane. It remains to be seen, but look at Carlsbury's pace. Jaja is into the pit lane. So he comes in. Lemon is going to be coming in as well. He's not actually. He stays out front on that, but that brings Sorensen out in toward the lead of the race, and Sorensen now is right on the back of Lemon. Running down the straight, Lemon is now under pressure, but not under pressure for long, because Sorensen sails past him down the inside line, down the straight, down towards turn 1, and gets the move done. Kumbly is ahead of Jajo. Jajo is behind Kumbly, so I said around the effect sort of area, and in fact, he's 1 position worse than what I said. So Jajo now, 1.2 seconds off the back of Kumbly. It's going to be like bread and butter night and day, to be honest, between the tyres. Jajo is a second off the back of Kumbly. That will not be a second by the end of this lap. I think Kumbly will be through on him next lap around.
That is very possible. Importantly for the championship as well, though, he's now quite a bit more behind Perpetuum, but still within range to win the title and still ahead of Carlsbury. But this is ignoring any penalties. He'd only be outscoring Carlsbury by 1 point. If you had the penalty on, Carlsbury would be outscoring Jiao Jiao, so that's going to be something to look out for. It could be very close between those two at the end of the race. And as I say, that Carlsbury picks up a 3-second time penalty. I still think it will be fairly close, but you'd imagine Jiao Jiao would be able to pull away on those fresher tyres. He's coming onto the back of Kumbly now, and if I would have a quick look at Carlsbury's tyres on the TAS system on this occasion, Carlsbury 23% on his front left compared to 3% for Jiao Jiao, and unsurprisingly, Lemon, he comes into the pits. He's going to be a lot further down the order. Could be in last place actually by the time he comes out of the pits.
He probably will. Lemon is into the pits. Here comes Jajo on the back of Kumbly, and that's the first prediction I've actually got right here tonight. Jajo now through, and he's into 4th position. Sails past on the back of Kumbly within a lap, which I'm very proud to say. Jajo through, and he's into 4th. Kumbly then in 5th. In fact, still trying to chase down Perpetuum. Gap beginning to close down slightly, I would say, between Sorensen and Perpetuum. It's 6.9 seconds. Various, by the way, in the comment section saying Jajo was going to win, just saying. I predicted him for 2nd, so he might actually be on for 2nd, who knows. But Sorensen leads the way, Perpetuum in 2nd, Effect in 3rd. If there's another VSC, and it stays out for as long as it is, though, or if there's a full safety car, it will throw a right spanner into the works. Sorensen leads the way, though. Perpetuum in 2nd. Perpetuum, the last time I looked, was what, 7.7 seconds? Off the back of Sorensen. It's now 7 seconds, so that gap is just beginning to be whittled away.
Yeah, maybe he's just enjoying these medium tyres a bit more than he was for softs earlier on, because he started well. He just made the odd mistake. We saw him lose time to Sorensen, and then once he got passed by Sorensen, the Haas car was just able to streak away from him, and Effect's just about hanging on this occasion. And to show you how good job Jiao Jiao's doing, Jiao Jiao didn't gain anything from that safety car period as he now sets the fastest lap of the race. He's nearly back onto the back of Effect again, and he was just ahead of the Red Bull before the pit stop. So Jiao Jiao's doing a really good job on this occasion. I think you're right. I think 2nd place is a possibility. It's just to be seen whether any more safety cars, VSCs or penalties end up costing him.
Well, Jajo's going to put the theory of the wheels quicken the pad to good effect, I think, because Jajo's on a pad and he's catching effect, he's presumably on a wheel. And this is very impressive, actually, and it just comes to show what sort of a bright future this man actually has out on track, going in towards the new game next season. Sorensen leads the way, though. Perpetuum in 2nd, Effect in 3rd. Jajo will be on the back of these within 2 laps. I'll guarantee you that now. Whether he can get through on Effect and Perpetuum remains to be seen. But look through the S section. He's got ultimate grip coming through the S section, and he's just pulled 3 tenths on the back of Effect, just as you do. Jajo has now got the pace on the back of Effect, and in terms of his tyre length and in terms of his tyre wear, he's got 20% less less tyre wear, I should say, than Effect in front of him. And look at the gap, he's now within DRS range.
Yeah, but...
Oh, have we lost Luke? Sorensen leads the way, Perpetuum 2nd, Effect in 3rd, Jajo in 4th. As Jajo is on the back of Effect. Effect now running down in towards turn number 1. We have lost our co-commentator, I'm afraid to say, but Sorensen leads the way. Perpetuum in second, Effect in third, and Effect looks down the inside line, possibly down in towards turn 1. Not quite close enough. We'll have to go David Addison for a bit, I think. Sorensen leads the way. Perpetuum in second, Effect in third, Jajo in fourth. But I think what Luke was trying to say is Jajo is getting onto the back of Effect and Perpetuum, but whether or not he can try and overtake remains to be seen. Tim, by the way, further down the field, is into the pit lane. Onto a set of soft compound tyres he goes. He will have to make another pit stop right towards the end of the race. There's no way he's making 19 laps on that set of soft compound tyre. Sorensen, though, leads the way. Perpetuum in second, Effect in third. Jajo in fourth as Effect again picks up another 3-second tumbling. For those that are following in terms of the task system, bring up the penalties to the right-hand side. 6 seconds it is from Effect. He's got Mikras has just picked up a penalty as well. Perpetuum, though, has got no penalties. Effect's got 6. Jajo's got 3. Black boxes coming up, which is just, we'll see it in just a second. Effect on 6, Jajo on 3, Kumblai on 3, Cosbury on 3, Mikras on 3, Panos on 6, and Tim on 3 as well. It's Jajo now on the back of Effect, and this is solely impressive from the Dane. He tries to close back on the back of the German, but the German now closing in on the back of his fellow countryman, running down and towards someone, but he looks at the inside line. Halfway through we go. Sorensen leads, Perpetuum second, Effect in third, Jajo in fourth. Everyone else strung out like a washing line at this stage, but Jajo now on the back of Effect. Effect now trying to chase down Perpetuum, got caught in the grass slightly as now Jajo reels him in like a fish on a fishing rod as Jajo nearly locks up into the back of Effect and actually makes a very, very rare mistake. He locked up into the back of Effect nearly, and Jajo very, very lucky to come away with that with no front wing damage at all. Sorensen leads the way, Perpetuum in second, Effect in third. As I take a lovely drink, Jajo in fourth, Kumblai in fifth, Colesbury in sixth, Mikras in seventh. Mikras has actually jumped off the back of Colesbury now, and Lemon picks up another 3-second Tomboli. He might be the first 3-second Tomboli the light, and in fact, he now leaves the session as well. I wonder if we might be having a little bit of a glitch with PSN or something. Sorensen leads the way, Perpetuum in second. Sorensen gap 7.7 seconds, came back out, and Perpetuum is the one struggling for his tyres.
Yeah, he has got 1 lap older tyre, so maybe that is an explanation for it at this moment in time. But to be fair, Effect is hanging on in there, but not really putting him under lots of pressure on this occasion. And Jajo is sort of just stuck in that DRS train at the moment in time. Third man in the train, always a difficult place to be in to try and get any overtakes done. And I think he wouldn't mind if Effect could get onto the back of Perpetuum, close in ever so slightly, and then if those two battle, it might be a chance for Jajo to just escape and get ahead of the pair of them.
Jajo, I would imagine he would have used up the overtake mode now, and now he is going to use up the overtake mode. Looks the inside on Effect, but it's half committed, and he's not committed to the move at all. We're halfway through here, though, in Mexico. Sorensen leading the way. Perpetuum now losing the time. He has got more worn tyres than Sorensen ahead of him, and Perpetuum has got, 45% on his tyres, 38% for Sorensen on his rear left, and the rear left really takes the hit around this track. But it just comes to show Effect, who has got no tyre wear apparently according to TAS. I think that might be a glitch within his TAS system there. But Jajo on the back of Effect, and in terms of his tyre wear, 24%. He's got less, pretty much double, half the amount, I should say, of Perpetuum's tyres. And he's on, 4-5 lap older tyres than Jajo? Brilliant stuff.
Yeah, and Perpetuum, he's obviously going to have to go to the medium tyres, whereas Jajo, I think he can do the final stint on the softs, and I'll tell you what, Jajo is closing onto the back of Effect here. He might be able to sling one down the inside into turn 1 if he's feeling brave. Not on this occasion. Effect just able to hold on for now, but Jajo definitely getting closer. Effect gets a 3-second time penalty and just cutting over that curb. Did help him pull the gap ever so slightly, but here comes the championship leader once more, down the inside, towards turn 4 he goes. Can the Red Bull hold it off all the way around the outside? We saw Perpetuum manage to pull off around the outside earlier on. Jajo can't get the cutback. Effect stays ahead. This could still help though, the Alfa Romeo. If this forces Effect out of DRS range, you'd imagine he'd be a sitting duck next time round.
It could bring the likes of Kumblai as well into play if these two really begin to fight. Perpetuum, though, with no penalties beginning to pull away. Soon as I say that, 3-second time penalty picked up from Perpetuum. I swear I did not see that on my camera angle, certainly, and it wasn't a commentator's curse. Sorensen leading the way, though. Perpetuum in second, Effect in third, Jajao in fourth, Comply in fifth, Cosby sixth, who's picked up a penalty, Mikras in seventh, Panos in eighth, Lemon in ninth, and Tim in 10th. Top 10, of course, still going round out on track. Very disappointing in terms of attendance, but lap 21 out of 36 now beginning. Jajao now potentially with one hand on the championship. Well, Effect's just gone streeting up the road. Naturally, he's going to run on Perpetuum here, down and towards turn one. Is Effect going to have the run down and towards turn one? No, he backs off and Perpetuum hangs on for second. But Effect realises that he's got the pace suddenly down the straight to try and bring in on the back of Perpetuum, and he's going to try and reel him in once again on the run down and towards turn number 4. Sorensen leads, Perpetuum second, Effect in third, Jajao in fourth. Nobody going to get the moves done, though, and they're all pulling away from Kumbly, who's stuck in a bit of no man's land, and in fact the rest of the field are stuck in a bit of no man's land as well.
Yeah, these gaps will be fantastic for any driver that wants to come into the pits later on, because apart from Effect and Jajao, no one in the field has currently got the DRS at this moment in time. It's very rare we see that, even at a point where we're halfway through the race. Effect had an awful run through the S's. Jaujao's going to be all over the back of him coming through turn number 12 here. Will he be able to send one down the inside and get himself onto the podium here? There comes the championship leader down the inside in the Alfa Romeo. Effect just about manages to hold on for this inside part of the stadium section. They come side by side from here. There's a bit of wheel banging. Jaujao's got the inside line for the final corner. Effect still trying to hang on here, but I think he's just going to have to yield for now. But that dropped, I don't think either of them are actually going to get the DRS here. No, Jajao, he's got the DRS, and look at that, he's just able to pull away from Effect.
He is indeed. In fact, Jajao's rear wing is actually not showing up on my screen, so I'm not sure if he might be just not running the ERS down, or the DRS I should say, down the straight. Mikras, by the way, is into the pit lane, and he's the first of them medium runners who came in, of course, under the VSC, or just before the VSC. He is now into the pit lane to put on a fresh set of mediums. To the end of the race he will go, and he has managed 15-16 laps, so it is possible. Mikras now, he will be behind Tim, but at the back of the field he can now try and make an impact, maybe further down the field is now Effect. Just loses time to the back of Jajao. Jajao, Perpetuum. This is what we wanted to see. And at this moment in time, both of them on 3 seconds worth of penalties, as you can see on your screen there. Jajao is in prime spot to take the championship victory, even without passing Perpetuum.
Yeah, I think he is as well. That final stint, I imagine Perpetuum's going to have to go for the mediums, whereas Jajao will be able to go for the soft tyres, and I think he's going to come flying past the Williams in the not too distant future as Tim gets ahead of Lemon, who obviously has disconnected. I'm surprised Tim went for the soft tyres. Says to me he's going to go for a second set of softs to try and set that fastest lap later in the race, just to try and salvage something. It's not been an ideal afternoon from someone who showed a lot of pace earlier on. Perpetuum trying to weave to break the toe there, but Jajao was nowhere near him, and that's just slowed him down.
It has just slowed him down out on track. Carlsby's the latest one to come in. Mikras is now through on Lemon's AI. Carlsby now into the pit lane, though. Panos now ahead, and Jajao's going to get the run of Perpetuum. Down in towards turn 4 they go. I don't think he's going to be quite close enough. I don't think he's going to be committed on the brakes either. And Perpetuum hangs on for second, Jajao in third. But look at the gap that Sorensen's pulled out. Sorensen's got so much fresher tyres compared to Perpetuum. They're pitted in just a lap younger. Sorensen with that big VSC advantage, now beginning to pull out the gap even further. Perpetuum and Jajao, they'll all have to pit again. Tim might be the one to watch out for if he tries to close in on a set of soft compounded tyres. But I would imagine, to be honest, the man to watch out for is probably Carlsby at this stage. He's on a fresh set of mediums, up against Tim on a wearing set of softs. Carlsby should get through on Tim very soon. He's got no man's land advantage to Panos pretty much. But Jajao on the back of Perpetuum, when are they going to blink? Is Perpetuum going to blink in this time around to come in for a fresh set of mediums? Or is Jajao going to keep on the back of him? And he is going to keep on the back of him. Perpetuum stays out. Panos, another 3-second penalty. But this should be an easy move for Jajao. He's not even going to use up any overtake rule whatsoever. Absolutely sailed on by. And Jajao is ahead of Perpetuum. And this is what he needed to do. Out on track. And Jajao now is ahead of Perpetuum. But that puts now a pendulum swing on things. Jajao, I don't think all of a sudden, is doing enough. Because it's 5 points, the gap.
Yeah, well, we'll have to wait and see how things go later on. I mean, Jajao, he's going to be on the soft tyres for his final stint. It's not like he can bail early off these mediums to try and cover off a potential undercut. You have to use 2 different types of dry tyres. He has got He's got no choice. Second's really the best he can hope for with that penalty. Sorensen's effectively 12 seconds ahead with 12 laps to go here. He's doing a superb job, and he's not had any warnings at this point in the race. He is doing so well, as we watch him probably end up getting 3 warnings on 1 lap now. Carlsbury, like you said, he's the one to maybe watch with some of these undercuts. If he can get past Tim, and he's not able to do so at this moment in time, that could really bring him into play when some of the other drivers come into the pits, especially Effect, who has dropped off the back of these drivers, and now has got his teammate all over the back of him.
Yeah, Kuhnblai run on the back of Effect. I wonder if Effect's going to come into the pit lane. No, it's actually Kuhnblai who comes into the pit lane. So he's in on a fresh set of medium compounded tyres, you would assume, towards the end of the race. It is possible maybe to string out a set of softs, and that's exactly what he's going on. And Kuhnblai might have pulled a masterstroke. He's going to be ahead of Tim coming out the pit lane. That is for certain. Panos is going to be ahead of him coming out. Kuhnblai, there is Tim coming out through the final corner, sliding his way through the final corner. Kuhnblai is going to be about 4 or 5 seconds ahead, I would assume, running down the straight here. And Kuhnblai is ahead of Tim. Tim is going to be, well, actually less than 4 seconds behind. He's actually got Carlsbury now closing in on the back of him. Tim going very slow down the straight. Carlsbury now looking to the inside line, not quite close enough. Gap beginning to be pulled down. Sorensen, Zhao is now all of a sudden 8.8 seconds out on track, but here comes Carlsbury hunting on the back of Tim. You can see the red light is on. He's using the overtake mode to get past, and Carlsbury now to the outside line. Tim on the inside line, breaks late, not good enough. Carlsbury sails out, ran the outside through into 7th.
Yeah, good move by Carlsbury. Tim softs are probably going to be a bit worse than those mediums right now. They're not getting towards the end of the race. Surely he's going to have to come in and put on another set. I think we'll see a few more drivers coming to the pits this lap, and you know what? I'm actually surprised that none of the top 3 have gone for it. I think Effect is going to do so, because Kuhnblai on those fresh soft tyres, he's going to pull off a huge undercut here, and Perpetuum comes in as well. I was going to say Zhao, if he doesn't come into the pits in the next lap or 2, he's going to be under pressure from Kuhnblai and probably ruin all that good work he's done.
Yep, Zhao probably going to have to come into the pit lane now, I would assume. Panos is in as well. Kuhnblai's across the start-finish line. There's Perpetuum. I think Perpetuum's going to be barely ahead here of Kuhnblai. There is Kuhnblai. He's going to be well ahead of him, in fact, and Perpetuum is going to be just less than 2 seconds ahead. Probably a second and a half running down in towards turn number 1. Mikras now is on the back of Tim, and he pulls out the slipstream to the left-hand side, and Mikras is going to be through to the right-hand side. In fact, gets the move done down in towards turn 1, and he's into 7th position. Panos is out ahead of Lemon, I believe. Lemon's AI, of course, still running around there in 10th. Disappointing from him to leave the session, but Panos in 9th. Tim down in 8th position as well. Mikras now through into 7th. Tim's softs will begin to wear away. He may as well come in, because there's no hope he's going to be getting Panos certainly on that set of soft compounded tyres. Everyone now string out quite strongly out on track. Sorensen is in. Zhao. I wonder if he's going to come into the pit lane this lap around. No! Stays out. Gap is 20 seconds. This is going to be tight.
Yeah, I think this could drop him behind Perpetuum, and with Carlsbury being in what is currently 6th position, I still think that's going to be enough actually for Zhao, even if he ends up finishing 3rd. Is if Kuhnblai ends up getting ahead of him as well, that might get a bit more tricky. But unlike what he suffered with Perpetuum and Effect earlier, none of these cars have got the DRS off the back of each other, and that is going to help them out. Sorensen there, he's 12 seconds off the lead of this race, and he's done 1 extra pit stop, and he's got no penalties. It has been an absolutely fantastic job, and just to give you a clue how good the soft tyres are at the moment, Kuhnblai 1.8 seconds faster last lap than Zhao.
Unbelievable, and Zhao is going to be behind Kuhnblai, I would assume, maybe even behind Effect. Tim is into the pit lane now, onto a fresh set of softs he goes. Lemon's AI is into the pit lane, and that is probably the telling sign for Zhao to come into the pit lane. He is going to try and limit his set of softs, and I think he's doing that to try and gain maybe towards the end of the race, and he's going to have to try and push. Just seen a bit of breaking news, by the way, as well regarding football. Mauricio Pochettino apparently is going to leave PSG. That's what I've just heard. There we are. We've got cutting-edge sport reporting here on TTML. Zhao leads the way. Sorensen in second. Zhao now finally dives into the pit lane, takes out the bollard with him, and he comes into the pit lane. That bollard flying down towards pretty much his pit box, and now runs into a sort of soft compounded tyres. But where is he going to come out? I have a feeling he's going to be side by side with Effect.
I think he'll just be ahead of Effect, but we're talking maybe a second, and maybe Effect being used to those tyres might be able to try and get him back. Perpetuum with the fastest lap of the race. Then you can see he's out a long way ahead of Zhao Zhao. Here comes Kuhn Blai, who is just going to get ahead, and in the end, Zhao Zhao's going to be a lot closer to Kuhn Blai than he is to Effect, so might be able to have a go. Even possibly next time around to try and get himself back up into what would be third position, as they are both on 3 seconds of penalties. You've got to say it's looking very good for Zhao Zhao now, especially because Carlsberry, he's actually got 9 seconds of penalties, and Mikras has only got 7, so has only got 6, so that's another place. Carlsberry will be losing. I think the fat lady is starting to clear a throat and get ready to sing for this championship, because Zhao Zhao, he looks supremely quick in that second stint on the race on the fresher tyres, and I imagine he'll be able to get past Kuhn Blai and get a podium.
Yeah, well, looking at the position changes as well out on track, Perpetuum has lost 1 position, but remember, he's got those 2 the 2 pole position points for for qualifying. So Perpetuum actually might just hold a bit of an advantage over Zhao Zhao. I think, as it stands, if Zhao Zhao was to remain behind Kuhn Blai, it will be 9 points. He may as well not even go for this move, will Zhao Zhao. Kuhn Blai is in 3rd, Zhao Zhao in 4th, but now, look at this. He's right on the back of him, and he's now closing down in towards turn number 1. I don't think he even needs turn number 1. Zhao Zhao is through on the back of Kuhn Blai, and Kuhn Blai, his podium celebrations might be over and done with for now, but if he stays on the back of him, who knows where this race might go. Sorensen leading the way, Perpetuum in 2nd, Zhao Zhao in 3rd. Zhao Zhao now clear of Kuhn Blai. He's got pace. Can he catch Perpetuum before the end of the race?
I'm not sure, if I'm being perfectly honest. We know Perpetuum's extremely quick as well. Don't be surprised though if Zhao Zhao, with that assistance of DRS, gets the fastest lap on this lap. And of course, that is 1 bonus point, so that helps him out even more. Perpetuum has got 6 warnings, so he says he's got 6 warnings. That's surely an extra penalty that he should be getting. So I'd imagine he's not too far away from getting a penalty himself, and maybe that could help Zhao Zhao out. Maybe he doesn't even need to go for this move if the Williams driver picks up a penalty.
Yeah, it'll help him out massively. Zhao Zhao, 2.3 seconds, has pulled only the 0.8 of a second currently on the back of Perpetuum. I think this is looking quite good, actually, for Zhao Zhao to catch the back of Perpetuum, certainly before the end of the race, and we could see a championship fight still, but Sorensen leads the way. Perpetuum in 2nd, Zhao Zhao in 3rd, everyone now strung out. There's the response from Zhao Zhao, a 1:14.7 on a fresh set of softs, and now he's 2 seconds away from the back of Perpetuum, running down the straight. Zhao Zhao has now got to absolutely fly on these tyres. Perpetuum is no slouch, by the way. Perpetuum is no slouch whatsoever, and he has been the pole man around here in Mexico. Zhao Zhao, though, has got pace. He's on a pad. Perpetuum, I believe, is on a wheel. Zhao Zhao shouldn't be doing this.
But Zhao Zhao's just been, like we said, the class of the field. Since he joined TTML last season, he's been off the podium once in all the races that he's taken part in. He has just been so consistent. That's why he's winning the championship, and I don't know why we're even surprised anymore that he's close up about half a second on the last lap to Perpetuum. This could be a final lap battle between these two. It's a shame it's not for the championship. It's a shame it's only for 2nd place in this race, because we know how quick Perpetuum is. He's a 2-time reigning champion, but it looks like any slight hope he had of making it 3 in a row is going to be extinguished in about 6-7 minutes time.
Yeah, Zhao Zhao closing in on the back of Perpetuum, and goodness me, we could be in for an absolute thriller. Sorensen has got this. Sorensen has won. If he doesn't crash out on track, that's the only reason I could see why he wouldn't get the win out on track. Sorensen has just dominated from that BSC coming out. That really helped him, and Sorensen is going to be pleased as punch, honestly, by the end of this race. Perpetuum's in 2nd, Zhao Zhao's in 3rd. But I'm just on board with Zhao Zhao because the gap is just closing down all of a sudden. Miklas 9/10 of a second away on Colesbury. It's the closest real battle out on track. You can't even call it a battle, though. It's very disappointing, I think, that we're not getting battles towards the end of this race. But Zhao Zhao leading on to the back of Perpetuum, 1.4, 1.3, and the gap's still staying stagnant. But in theory, I've just calculated up, actually, Sorensen has picked up a 3-second penalty, Effect has picked up another 3-second penalty as well. Everyone has now got penalties of those that have run in, including Lemon's AI, but Sorensen now leading the way 6.8 seconds, Perpetuum in 2nd, Zhao Zhao in 3rd. Zhao Zhao the man to try and close one Perpetuum. I think, theoretically, Zhao Zhao is catching about 3 or 4 tenths a lap on the back of Perpetuum on average. If he catches him, he's going to be on the back of him final lap.
Yeah, not only that, he's going to get the DRS very shortly. Not this time around, but don't be surprised if he's got it next time and possibly into turn 12 on lap 32 as well. So that's going to help extend that even more. Perpetuum, I think he's just trying to keep it clean now, not get any penalties. He's got about 50% more ERS than Zhao Zhao, so he knows he can use that to defend or re-attack if he needs to. It will be interesting to see what Zhao Zhao does. When he catches to Perpetuum, will he go for it straight away, or will he wait until the final lap of the race, knowing that it's going to be hard for the German to fight back?
I think it'll be very hard for the German to fight back because, of course, Zhao Zhao's probably got about 15% fresher tyres at this stage, but it remains to be seen. Sorensen leading the way. He's wrapped this up now. There is no shadow of a doubt. Sorensen has wrapped this up. Unless he makes a mistake and unless he crashes, he has won. Perpetuum's in second, Zhao Zhao in third. We're probably looking at our top three, but in what order they appear in remains to be seen. My prediction, by the way, is going completely awry with Sorensen now winning, of course. Perpetuum second, Zhao Zhao in third, and Zhao Zhao still closing on onto the back. Another 4/10 gain into the middle sector, and now Zhao Zhao hunting down. He's within DRS range this time around, in towards the baseball stadium section once again, coming through in towards 16 and 17. Let's pick him up. Let's roll on board with him. So now comes across the line to start lap 33. 4 more laps to go, including this one. Sorensen leads, Perpetuum in second, Zhao Zhao in third. Zhao Zhao, from my reckoning, is just going to save up a little bit of ERS. It looks to be around the 25% range at this stage. In fact, it is 25% running down the straight. He's on the back of Perpetuum, but Perpetuum's still in second position, and Zhao Zhao has got about 0.2 less of fuel compared to Perpetuum out on track. How will that play towards the final couple of laps? We have to be seen, but Zhao Zhao just pulled out of the slipstream there, warning Perpetuum is there, and Perpetuum now getting closed down. Do you know what? You're probably thinking that the inevitable is going to happen. He's going to get the move done next time around, and I would say to you, you're completely and utterly right.
Yeah, I think it's looking that way at the moment. Obviously, Perpetuum's going to pull away through these S's as the dirty air takes effect, but Zhao Zhao should close up a bit in the final sector, should close up massively on the straight, and there might be another battle into turn 4, and we know Perpetuum's not too bad at those battles into turn 4, so that could be something to watch out. In fact, I think Perpetuum just used a tiny bit more ERS there just to try and help get away and try and break this toe that Zhao Zhao has got on this occasion. We've barely even shown the leader, Sorensen, just because he's been so far ahead in this race. That VSC, yes, he got a bit lucky with it, but it was leading the race anyway and pulling away from Perpetuum, and I'm not sure Perpetuum would have been able to do a lot in the end. And here we go, Zhao Zhao is closing up, but not close enough this time around. Can he get a good exit through 3, though, to have a go into 4?
I don't think he's got the pace actually running down the straight to get onto the back, and that might just be the nail in the coffin right there. 3-second penalty for Zhao Zhao. He's got 5.7 seconds to Kuhn Bly, but Perpetuum's got less penalties than him now out on track. Zhao Zhao now wants this. You saw instantly him pulling out of the slipstream, and he's now began to attack a little bit more and put Perpetuum under a bit of pressure. The 2-time champion, of course, here in TTML Division 1 against the new young blood, up-and-coming riser in Zhao Zhao. Zhao Zhao is the one on the back of Perpetuum. We are going to come down to the final 2 laps. Whether Zhao Zhao waits until the final lap, I think will probably be wise to wait for the final lap, or he could have a go onto the second last lap here as we're about to begin. Sorensen has dominated that in front, which is why we haven't shown him. Perpetuum second, Zhao Zhao in third. The top 3, are they going to stand as they are? Are they going to change? Towards the final couple of corners, we come through onto the penultimate lap of the race, and now Zhao Zhao is as close as he's ever been to the back of Perpetuum. And look at this, he's just looked like he's entered the race, down the inside on the line, running down the straight. Perpetuum's going to come back into the slipstream, and look at this, Perpetuum now back in with the slipstream, but the DOS carries Zhao Zhao into second position. Perpetuum fought back, and wisely so. Zhao Zhao now, though, out of the clear air, gone fresher tyres, surely going to pull away. Could he even pull 2.5 seconds on Perpetuum in the final 2 laps?
I don't think so, to be perfectly honest. Let's not forget, Perpetuum, I can't see him losing DRS on this lap, especially not into turn 12, and that, again, Perpetuum has a bit of a wobble there, so I can't see it happening, if I'm being perfectly honest. What might help Zhao Zhao out, though, is he's starting to catch up to Lemon's AI car, and if he's behind him at the detection point, that's the last thing that Perpetuum will want, of course. So Zhao Zhao is going to get the DRS off the Ghost car, so that's one less thing to help Perpetuum out. I feel like this is the first time we've seen these battle this season out on track, and Zhao Zhao's come on top, and that's sort of been the story of the season. When anyone's asked any questions of him, he's delivered.
He has delivered in Perpetuum. Now, 9/10 of a second, the gap coming through the final couple of corners through Peraltado and Sorensen, leading the way. Jojo in second, Perpetuum in third. Onto the final lap we go. By the way, there is a battle going on further down the field. I've just realised Carlsbury on the back of, Mikras on the back of Carlsbury, running now down and towards 16 and 17 through Peraltado once again. But Sorensen onto the final lap leading the way. Jojo second, Perpetuum in third. Pretty much the top three as you stand. Perpetuum, though, I think, will gain ahead of Jojo because of the penalties. Here comes Mikras, though, on the back of Carlsbury. Carlsbury, yet more war about to be applied onto the Finn's face as Mikras now on the Dane to the outside line, running down and towards someone. Has he got the move done? Carlsbury lunges it down the inside line. Really good battle between these two, and Mikras comes out on top. So the Haas comes out on top of the McLaren. But for how long? Because Carlsbury's right on the back of him, running in towards turn number 4 once again. Carlsbury has got very limited actually derating down the straight, lunges it down the inside line, but Mikras holds sway, and Mikras holds into P6 position. Sorensen, though, is coming into the baseball stadium section. The confetti is already flying. It's the wrong coloured confetti, but Sorensen now through the final couple of corners. He doesn't take it easy now through the final corner. Peraltada, Sorensen with an absolute masterclass here, wins in Mexico. Jojo comes around the final corner. He is going to be your Division 1 champion for this season. He gets outscored by Perpetuum, but it doesn't really matter. Jojo has finished third. Kuhnblei to finish in fourth position as well. Really good drive from him. Just unlucky with how the VSC played out. Effect is coming through the final couple of corners in fifth. Mikras is still getting hunted down by Carlsbury, who's all out of shape through the final corner. Mikras across the line actually gains on Effect to finish in fifth. Carlsbury ran wide across the line in seventh. Panos on his debut, really respectful debut to come across the line in eighth. He's getting closed down by Tim, comes across the line, the Greek man in eighth. Tim nearly spins out the final corner, comes across the line in ninth. Lemon finishes in AI mode, of course, in 10th position, doesn't pick up any points. 9 real finishes out on track, but it is Driver of the Day awarded to Jojo.
Yeah, green, white and red, colour of the Mexican flag, colour of the Italian flag, and Zhao Zhao's driving for an Italian team, of course, so maybe a bit of poignancy in those colours. Great race from Zhao Zhao on that alternate strategy, played it perfectly. Sorensen, though, pitted under the VSC, gained plenty of time, and never looked back from that point. I still think he'd have probably had the pace, maybe to take the victory anyway. It would have been close with him and Zhao Zhao at the end, but Sorensen takes his first victory of the season. Good to see Perpetuum getting back on form as well with a second position, which I think in terms of the championship moves him up to second in the championship as well.
It does move up into second in the championship, but there's no championship to fight for because, according to our graphics man, Tom, of course, Jojo has taken the championship pending the steward's report, and he's got the fastest lap as well, just to boot. Sorensen has won, though. A Dane first and third. Perpetuum has split them in second. Kuhnblei in fourth. Really impressed me in terms of his driving. Mikras in fifth, Effect in sixth. Carlsbury seventh. Panos in eighth. Tim in ninth. Lemon round off the top 10. He finished, of course, in AI. Doesn't pick up any points. And Cass DNFing, of course, out of the race through the final corner. Deployed the VSC, which in the end helped Sorensen quite a lot. And are we going to do Drive of the Day? Do we have to vote for Drive of the Day? I'm giving it to Sorensen.
I've got to agree with you. He didn't, apart from getting that penalty late on, he was the quickest driver out there for quite a lot of the time, and he was the last driver to get a penalty as well, I think, out of everyone. So yeah, he's done an astounding job. You could argue for Zhao Zhao as well coming through the field, but I think even if it wasn't for that VSC, it would have been interesting to see between those two.
Thought my TV was going to turn off. Had 60 seconds, it's fine. But we are fine. But yeah, Sorensen wins. Perpetuum in second, Jojo in third. Shall we get the top 3 in?
I'm trying my best shot. I think we'll definitely get the winner and the championship winner as well, which should be good enough.
It should be good enough. It will be good enough for sure. And I'm just putting in the Driver of the Day vote as well. And that, of course, goes to IFR_Sorensen. You'll have to remind me how to spell his second name, by the way. I think that's right. I hope it is. If it's not, then change it in the graphics, I think. Jojo has joined us in the party. Will come, of course, Sorensen when he joins first. Sorensen, of course, being our race winner out on track here in Mexico and has been awarded Drive of the Day for, of course, voted by us, the commentators. But we'll have to wait and see if he is going to join And beautifully done. He has joined right on time. IFR_Sorensen. An absolute genius stroke from you under the VSC. You have won here in Mexico. Talk us through your race.
Yeah, I was a bit lucky with it VSC. I think the gap to Perpetuum was about 7 seconds or something when I pitted. And yeah, it took a couple of laps to get the right rhythm, but yeah, at the end I was just cruising and trying to avoid any warnings and penalties and mistakes.
We did pick up a 3-second time penalty right towards the end of the race as well. So obviously you weren't keeping it that clean out on track, but you could afford to pick up a 3-second time penalty though.
Yeah, I was trying to get the fastest lap as well, so I was pushing a bit too much there. But yeah, whatever, the gap was really big, so yeah.
Didn't matter at the end of the day, and of course that is, I believe, your first win this season as well.
It is, yeah.
Which is fantastic, and that must fill you with a great deal of confidence moving forward into the final 2 rounds.
Yeah.
Not a man of many words, I've got to say, from Sorensen. Luke, I'll come on to you. Any questions?
Yeah, congratulations on the victory, Sorensen. With yourself picking up, you've picked up 3 podiums now this season. Mikras, your teammate, got 2 in the 2 races before this. You must be feeling pretty good that yourself and Mikras can get the Constructors' Championship, perhaps.
Yeah, we are really aiming for that, to get the Constructor. And yeah, let's see what is gonna happen. But we think we can maybe. But
yeah, I'd say on tonight's form, you've definitely got a chance. Congratulations on taking your first win of the season.
Thank you.
And the final question from me before you go, of course, we've got America next week. How do you think you're going to get on around there?
Oh, yes. I don't know, it's a very long time ago since I drove there, but yeah, last time I drove there in a league race, I had a pretty good pace, so yeah, let's see next week.
Yeah, let's hope for more of the same. Go and enjoy your evening, though.
Thank you.
Very welcome indeed. And now we move on to the man pending a steward's report who has wrapped up the TTML Season 4 Drivers' Championship. It is Mr. IFR_Jajo. And Jajo, you've kept it considerably clean throughout this season. 3rd place from you out on track tonight. First of all, talk us through your race.
Yeah, it was a pretty decent race, fun race, I must say. Overtaking a lot of people and getting a good start. So yeah, it was not easy race, but slow and steady and pretty fun to be a part of.
Yeah, it was very fun to be a part of course. Under that VSC, you must have been hoping for a little bit of a miracle, to be honest, when it came out, of course, with that cask crashing through the final corner. Did that affect you in any way compared to where you finished out on track?
I don't really know. I didn't care a lot about the VSC, so yeah. I don't know if it changed the outcome or anything, but yeah.
Whether it did or not, yeah, we'll have to wait and see, of course. But you go into the final 2 rounds knowing that you are the champion. What is your approach from here on in?
My approach is to finish as high as possible. But next week I can't race, so it's only gonna be Singapore for me. But I still hope for a win in Singapore.
We have got the constructor standings as well that is still up for grabs as well. So are you thinking that with that race in Singapore that you might try and wrap it up there?
I wouldn't mind getting the constructors, but it's not something I'm aiming for. But yeah, and with me not participating next race, it's gonna be hard. So, but never say never. So let's see.
Never say never, indeed. Luke, I'll come across to you. Any questions?
Yeah, congratulations, Zhao Zhao, obviously, on winning the championship. You did a great job on the alternate strategy, but you might have not been starting on the alternate strategy because you got disqualified in qualifying. Can you just tell us what happened there?
I don't know, my controller, I think it ran out of battery or something. I haven't played on my PlayStation for a long time, so I think it didn't give me a warning or anything. So I think last time I turned off my GP as it already had low battery, so I think it ran out of battery or something. And then the second I turned it on again, I got disqualified.
In the end, though, obviously didn't affect you. Congratulations on winning the championship, and enjoy a well-earned break, and we'll see you back for Singapore, hopefully.
Thank you.
Yeah, go and enjoy your evening, Jaja.
Thank you.
You're very welcome indeed. And that, I believe, is the end, unless we have got Perpetuum here. I don't think he has joined the party. But fantastic race from everyone, I think, out on track here, despite the limited numbers. And I will reiterate this point. If you are one of the drivers that missed tonight and couldn't be really bothered to turn up, then please turn up next week, because we need better racing. And if you want the Premier Division to survive next season, and if you want everyone to show up week in, week out, you've got to be doing your bit for the league. Otherwise, the standards will just be brought down. It's as simple as that. And to anyone who has joined tonight, of course, in this race tonight, thank you so much. You are the guys that keep this league, this show on the road. You guys keep the league running. And you give the division admins a very, very easy time of things as well, which is very much appreciated. And I really hope that we do see better attendance next week and going into Singapore for the final 2 rounds. I know it's at the end of the game cycle, but come on. Pull your weight, we'll pull our weight, we'll give up our time, you give up your time. Simple as that. Deal? Perfect.
I don't think Zhao minded too much tonight with that disqualification in qualifying, though. A full grid might have made things very interesting if he'd have been starting from the back.
He did start from 10th position. He finished in 3rd, so obviously gets awarded the in-game driver of the day. Sorensen getting our driver of the day vote, of course, out on track. But thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you to Luke, of course, for joining me in the commentary box. Thank you to Tom, a master of the graphics as always. And I'm sure there'll be more to come. Wednesday, of course, tomorrow night, no racing, but we are back for TTML Division 2 and Division 3 on Thursday, 8 PM. Do not miss it whatsoever. Myself and Mike Edwards and Conti and Aidan Carter taking you to the action, of course, for Division 3. Division 4 is myself and Paco, and Division 5, of course, James Boyle and Pariah. And if you want a little bit of a treat, I have just spotted that sign-ups will open for Season 5 of Division 1 for TTML on the 16th of July on the new game. Perfect.
Yeah, drivers will be rushing to get themselves ready on the new game, of course. Unfortunately, I'm not one of the chosen ones to get the beta. I'm 0 for 3 on that.
Terrible. You and me alike, honestly. I didn't even sign up for the beta, knowing that the game is probably going to be terrible. But I remain to be enlightened by what EA are going to do, of course. But thank you so much for tuning in to TTML Division 1. Thank you to everyone that tuned in. You guys, again, make the league run, and your support is inevitable to keep this league going. So thank you so much. I've been James Head.
I've been Luke Etheridge.
Thank you for tuning in, and until next time, goodbye.
Dancing on the maybe my compass was wrong, and I'm still on my way closer to where I belong. Still rolling the dice, praying sometimes don't last it long. I'm losing my faith, I'm walking away from what you knew all along. Mama told me before you leave, if there's only one thing you remember from me, child, when you're out on your own, a million miles from home, feeling the weight of the world on your shoulders. Child, don't forget who you are, don't lose your head or your heart. I bet my life on your star, you'll be dancing, dancing on the moon. I bet my life, you'll be dancing on the moon. I bet my life, you'll be dancing on the moon. Child, don't forget who you are. Don't lose your head or your heart. I'll bet my life on you.